All right, welcome in, you guys. We got One Piece, chapter 1124. Spoilers here with us today. My name is Sai, and we are here to have a little chat. So with that being said, let's hop right into it with the first thing we got to talk about, and that is the fact that Kizaru is straight up not having a good time here on Egghead Island. So Akainu calls him up and says, hey, what the hell are you doing here, man? Like, you have failed here. The Straw Hats got away. The broadcast went rampant around the world. What the hell is going on over there? But Kizaru defends himself, and he screams at Akainu angrily with tears in his eyes, and he says, have you ever had to kill your best friend? If you doubt me, come here and see for yourself. Yo, Kizaru has finally whipped out the fangs. I love that Kizaru is finally expressing more emotions than just his casual, mellow self. It makes it that much more impactful. And yeah, I mean, you can see it right here. Kizaru has not been having a great time. That is something that has been reiterated throughout the entirety of Egghead, right? He destroyed the Vega Force 1. He looked away. You know, he was kicking Vegapunk. He looked away. Like, Kizaru didn't want to be here. He didn't want to kill Vegapunk. But at the end of the day, he was forced to. And you know what? He did it. He went through with the mission. So Akainu calling him and telling him that he failed, it's just like rubbing salt in the wound, right? It's like, what do you mean he failed, dude? He killed his best friend. Which, it's kind of ironic that Kizaru says, hey, have you ever killed your best friend to Akainu? Because Akainu couldn't do it, you know? Akainu was fighting Aokiji, and then he spared his life. He spared his life. He took his leg and he said, hey, get out of here. And then that's when Kuzan left the Navy. So, yeah, like, Akainu hasn't had to kill his best friend. And then there's Dragon. You know, we don't know what's going on with Akainu and Dragon, but Dragon's just still out there, you know, and Akainu just has a hard-on for him. So yeah, like, I think this is very justifiable, and I love that we're getting more layers added to Kizaru. You know, I think this is great. And also, I doubt there's anybody actually worried for him, but this confirms that Kizaru was not knocked out by Joy Boy's Haki, which, yeah, like I said, that's pretty obvious. But yeah, Kizaru, WWW in this chapter. And the next thing we have to talk about is the fact that there is somebody on the coast of Elbaf waiting for the Straw Hats' arrival. Well, then again, we don't know if they're waiting for the Straw Hats, but it's just kind of like an assumption here. But yes, there is a mystery silhouette, another one, right? Another mystery silhouette at the end of this chapter that just says the word come. So according to the leakers, we actually don't have too many specifics on this character. All we know is that they're drinking some alcohol, and that's about it. And now it's time to enter the speculation zone, because who the hell is this person? So initially, my mind first went to Saul, right? Because Saul is a character who we will meet on Elbaf, right? It's a character that Oda has silhouetted time and time again for some odd reason. Like, we know it's Saul, but whenever we've seen glimpses of Saul on Egghead Island, Oda has always, like, silhouetted his face and part of his body off. So this could be Saul, just because Oda has just been hiding him for some odd reason. Another character I thought of besides Saul was Shanks, but I don't believe this is Shanks. I have seen some people also hopping on the Shanks bandwagon, but I just personally don't see it, considering the fact that the red-haired pirates just recently left Elbaf, right? They departed right when they were fighting Kid, and even before they fought Kid, they were like, hey, Captain, we stayed on this island for longer than we should have. So yeah, I don't think this is Shanks. Besides Shanks, this could also be a Rouge, because we are running the supernova train, right? We meet one supernova after another. The only supernova that we haven't met yet is a Rouge. So I think, you know, a Rouge stocks in Elbaf have been pretty high since the very beginning. So this could be him. But as far as the leakers go, the leakers have thrown in their 2 cents, and they say that this could be Shiki, or at least the person we saw in Crocus's cover page story, which, you gotta admit, looks like Shiki. We don't see the face, just like Saul, but hey, that's Shiki. Those are his clothes, that's his hair, that's his hat. So yeah, I mean, it could be Shiki. And we do have to remember that Shiki is canon, but everything regarding Strong World is not, right? So at some point in time, Oda could bring in Shiki and have him meet the Straw Hats in the manga for the, quote, very first time. And the thing with Shiki, too, that I really like is the fact that in the very last SBS, I think it was like SBS 109, 108, but in that SBS, Oda actually talked about Shiki in there. And he talked about how if he were to bring Shiki back into the story, Shiki would have the float devil fruit, the devil fruit that he had in the movie Strong World. Oda said that he didn't like giving him that devil fruit, but since he had it in the movie, if he were to come into the manga, then he would have the exact same devil fruit. So I do think that could have been a sign all along that Oda has been prepping Shiki up for a manga canon appearance with the Straw Hats. I always try to be very careful with how I word that because Shiki is canon, you know, but at the same time, Strong World and everything surrounding Strong World is not. So yeah, maybe this is a sign that Shiki is coming pretty soon. And if this is Shiki, I do wonder if he would be a villain on Elbaf. I think that'd be kind of interesting. The one thing with Elbaf is that right now, to me at least, it's lacking a good solid villain. Because when it comes to Loki and a lot of the giants on Elbaf, they celebrate the sun. They celebrate the sun god. We have the sun god on the ship. You know, it's Luffy. So because of that, I highly doubt they're going to antagonize Luffy. And not to mention, we have a lot of clout with the giants. You know, we're friends with Oimo, Kashi, Dory, Brogy, Saul, Harudegarn, right? And then not to mention, we are also a key reason as to why Big Mom, one of their worst enemies, was taken down. So I think there's a lot of reasons to believe that all of the giants will be on our side and be friendly with us. So maybe this is Oda's way of introducing a villain. You know, maybe Shiki is just there and he's ready to fight us for some odd reason. See, here's the hard part too, right? Whoever is waiting on the coast, they know that the Straw Hats or somebody is on their way over. So I think they're good because this means that Dory and Brogy were like, hey, we're going to bring back Luffy, right? I feel like whoever they talk to has to be a good person. I'm so torn on this one. This could even just straight up be an entirely new character, right? I mean, we are heading to Elbaf. There's going to be a lot of people we haven't met yet. So yeah, this could just be a brand new giant or just somebody who's been hanging out on the island for quite some time. But we do have to remember that if they are like a through and through villain, then that must mean that they got past Shanks, you know, they got past the giants, and I don't know. It's such a weird dynamic, and I'm pretty excited. This is a hell of a way to start off a break week. But yeah, again, I would love to hear what you guys have to say about this. Who are you betting on? Man Marked by Flames, brand new character, Rouge, Saul. Are you Team Shiki? I would love to hear all of your thoughts and opinions down below. So now the next thing and the last thing I want to talk about, you know, we'll keep this pretty short. The last thing I want to talk about is the fact that Big News Morgans wants to print the headline about Luffy's victory on Egghead, Law losing to Blackbeard, and Kid losing to Shanks. But Vivi is pulling his hand and saying, hey, don't do it. You know, you got to stop that, Morgan. Stop printing that newspaper. And I'm going to say it right here. I'm sure all of you guys feel the exact same way. But I feel so bad for Morgans. I really do, man. I feel like being stuck with Vivi must be so annoying. I mean, like, I just think back to when Morgans wanted to print the headline that Luffy has captured Vegapunk and he's holding him hostage on Egghead Island. And then Vivi's just like, hey, stop that, Morgans. Luffy would never do that, right? But here's the thing, Morgans printed the newspaper and the headlines anyways. So even though Vivi is telling him no in this chapter, I still think Morgans is going to do it. Also, that's my cat. Come here, buddy. But yeah, I still think that Morgans is going to print the headlines, but in the odd scenario that he doesn't, I think this could play a pivotal role in the future. Because when you think about it, right? Luffy getting his victory on Egghead, I feel like that's pretty standard, but when it comes to Law and Kid and their defeats, if that's not printed, then this could be setting them up for a comeback or resurgence, because we do know that Law is fine, right? Law, Beppo saved him, they're on some island now, they're on land, so maybe this could be like, hey, you know, Law didn't lose because it wasn't printed in the newspaper, and maybe the same for Kid too. You know, maybe they're gonna have their comeuppance in a way. Maybe they're gonna get another ship and then set sail to maybe find the One Piece. I mean, obviously they're not going to because we have Luffy in the running. But yeah, I think this could be good for them if they don't have this bad PR out there, right? Like, I would feel really bad if the next island they go to, people are just laughing at Law for losing to Blackbeard or laughing at Kid for losing to Shanks, right? So maybe it's better for them if this doesn't get printed. But for Luffy, though, this is just like another Tuesday, right? Luffy just gets W's under the belt every single island. But yeah, I would love to hear what you guys have to say about this. What do you think is going to come out of this headline? Do you want them to print the news that Luffy won and Kid and Law lost? Or are you pretty indifferent about this one? Oh yeah, one more thing about Big News Morgans and Vivi, but I really did think that they were going to go to Egghead Island. Because there was one scene back when the message was playing, when it first started, where Big News Morgans was like, oh, like, this is a pre-recorded broadcast because look at the sun. You know, the sun's out, but in the message, the sun's not there. You know, like, there was that whole little scene. I think I got that in verse, but either way, like, Big News Morgans was calling out the time zone difference. So I thought that meant that Big News Morgans was nearby Egghead, but he never showed up. So, you know, maybe he's waiting for us on Elbaf. Maybe he's going to meet us halfway. Either way, I think that they're going to meet us because that's where Vivi would want to go, right? Like, Vivi can't go back to Alabasta because that's where, you know, they're all expecting her to go to. So maybe they go to Elbaf, maybe they meet up with the Straw Hats, and that is how this plays out. But yeah, that right there is it for today's chapter, you guys. But before we go, I do want to read Oda's message about season 2 of the One Piece live action because that also just dropped not too long ago. So I thought we might as well read through it together. So Oda says, yes, the live action One Piece is currently in production with filming well underway. The story will cover Logtown, Reverse Mountain, Twin Cape, Whiskey Peak, Little Garden, and Drum Island. Think about it. Imagine how much it'll cost. But whether it's the script or the cast, I continue to insist on this or that, which makes Matt, the showrunner, go, ah, and Netflix go, no, and Tomorrow Studios go, what? As they all pull their hairs out. All that, even though we grew so close making season 1. But it's because we all share the same passion for this show. Just as the last season, they've gone out of their way to promise that they won't put the show out until I'm satisfied. This isn't in the contract, you know, it's a verbal pledge. I hope you can appreciate how amazing and determined they are for keeping their word, and they've certainly proven their ability to bring this world to the screen. I just can't wait to see it. Meanwhile, the previously announced cast is compiled on the official X account, so go check it out. The Grand Line is an even more expansive world. You may wonder, what was the inspiration behind that kingdom? How would it connect to the real world? Naturally, the distinctive cast members have been assembled from around the world, and I can't help but get excited thinking about how the adventure has already begun. Among those yet to be announced, what about Vivi and Miss All Sunday? What are they doing with Chopper? We can't announce everyone all at once, but starting tomorrow, we'll be announcing more cast members over the next 3 days. August 21st, 22nd, and 23rd. Look out for those and stay tuned for more exciting updates to come. So a reason why I wanted to read this out is also because this could mean that One Piece is going to get less frequent in terms of chapters, and even in this upcoming chapter, it is only 13 pages long, and we could probably attribute that to the fact that Oda has a lot on his plate. You know, he's working on the OPLA, he's got a lot of side projects already, so put that alongside One Piece and writing a chapter every week. It makes sense why we have a break next week, and why these chapters are getting shorter. And we do have to remember that when season 1 of the Netflix live action released, Oda did take a 1-month break. So all that to say, we should be expecting more breaks in the upcoming future, which is a little bit unfortunate, but hey, we do get OPLA season 2 out of it. So at least, you know, we're getting something, right? But with that being said though, thank you guys again for joining me on this adventure. Let me know what you thought about this chapter down below, and I will catch you when the full spoilers drop. My name is Sai, and I'm signing out. Peace.